You know what absolutely blows my mind? The clinical idea that touching certain wounds is not beneficial. This promotes repression. This promotes a lack of emotional flow. What do I mean by that? Someone who's emotionally stagnant due to trauma is akin to an ice cube versus a river. This is someone that's going to remain in 16 frequency. This is someone who is going to be in such darkness that they don't even really know how to process new emotion. Okay. This is a situation that I don't understand. Common traits of someone like this is repetition of the same story, same traumatic story. And yet, if you try to probe deeper to help them process, they might cry, they might get flustered, they might refuse to do the work, they might refuse to talk about it further. But just by the simple fact that this is constantly being brought up, you're given insight into their most fragile wounds, okay? The most sensitive to touch, okay? Which means the ones that need to be addressed the most. Now, these wounds require transmutation, reframing, releasing, not allowing them to continue to repress. You cannot eliminate without illuminating. You cannot illuminate without darkness, without diving back into the darkness. Okay, I've told you guys before, you must illuminate to eliminate, and you cannot see the light without darkness. You cannot try to do healing work on a surface level while only paying attention to the positive things. And this is where I think the clinical approach has become misguided, because we don't want to offend anyone or cause discomfort. Discomfort is where this work begins. That's realm of 5 energy. I want discomfort. That shows me the karmic patterns that need to be addressed. That shows me the dance that's happening from 5 to 7. That teaches me about someone's attachment issues, their discomfort. I need them to be uncomfortable. I need them to be uncomfortable so we can do the work that's needed to release what's causing that discomfort. I need to gain insight into their 5 to 7 dance so we can do an 8 to 4 dance together. Okay? This is important work. And I've done a video on how to reframe and how to heal trauma from sexual assault. Okay? It's a reframing. Okay? It is a reframing of the circumstance. It's a reframing of the emotions you have surrounding it. Okay? It's important to be able to transmute that resentment, that fear, to pity and forgiveness. You have to literally work to transmute, in other words, transform, in other words, alter, in other words, reverse the emotions. And I'm making this video because I've heard this multiple times. I've only heard it from one person, but I've heard it multiple times where they say that there's research that shows that reopening certain wounds is not proven to be beneficial. And I disagree. That just means you're not opening them properly, or it means you're not transmuting them properly, or you're opening them and not really sure what to do with the energy. Everything's energy. So if you think of it that way, if someone's holding a big, dark piece of matter in the midst of their essence, but you don't want to touch it, they're not living life to the fullest, right? They're living in darkness. They're living in fear. They're living in a 5 state, but you don't want to touch it. That's not healing work. I need to see that darkness. The more darkness I can see from someone, the easier it is for me to help them. I love it when they're in a state of imbalance, right? In disarray, because I can see more. It's easier to begin with the shadow self than to have to peel back layers to reveal it, right? That can be done, right? Obviously, and it's actually not very hard. You just hone into the persona, and that gives you an exact opposite of the shadow self. But I digress. When we're talking about the realm that holds the secrets, that holds the darkness, the more that is revealed to you, the easier the work should be. But they also have to be ready. Trying to help a 16, pretty much a foolish endeavor. But once you're in 17, once you're open to transmuting, once you're open to rebirth, once you're open to healing, the more darkness you hold, the better. This is why shamans are masters of trauma, masters of the realm of 7. And this is why it is a prerequisite for shamanic initiation to have walked through the worst of the worst, the deepest depths of the darkness yourself. You cannot try to hone something you don't fully understand personally. You cannot try to navigate a place you've never been. You cannot try to lead someone to the light when you're still stuck in the darkness yourself. You had to have had a successful walk from 7 to 8 and understand what it means. Anyone can go to school, decide, I want to go to school to be a therapist or a psychologist. Anyone can decide that. Anyone can go read about these things. But when you approach this duty on your spiritual walk, based on your own experiences and understanding of darkness, it's a whole different ballgame.